What's up there, everybody? I wanted to talk about modal progressions. Okay, modal progressions are a chord that moves to another chord, that moves to another chord, that moves to another chord, and eventually it resolves at whatever mode or whatever different tonality you're on. As opposed to a static bass, like a pedal tone. Usually modal playing has that kind of a thing. It's like a Phrygian sound, for example, that has a static bass. Okay. Now, a chord progression, on the other hand, will actually change chords, go from different bass notes, right? Not just the upper structure of the voicing. So here's an example of a very strong chord progression. It goes 1, 5, 6, 4, 5, 1. So hopefully Rick Springfield doesn't sue me, but that's a very strong example of a chord progression in D. Okay, so I rolled the dice, and what I came up with was the fourth mode of harmonic major. Now, the fourth mode of harmonic major is known as Lydian minor. That's what Mick Goodrick calls it. Lydian diminished is another term I've heard, which makes sense. And but melodic minor sharp 4 is usually, I don't know, it's a very clear way to think of it. So if we try to do that Jesse's Girl chord progression, 1, 5, 6, 4, 5, 1, in the tonality of melodic minor sharp 4, or D Lydian minor, you get these are our options. I've written them down here. Let me see. Can you see that? All right. So the 1 chord, there's different voicings of the 1 chord. If we do triads, it's going to be D minor instead of D major. And then the 5 chord, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's different voicings of the 5 chord. If we do it as a triad, it's a major chord, just like the original. Now the 6 chord is going to be different. It's going to be a diminished. Now, we don't have to voice the 5th. We could play it like this, kind of deceive everybody, like, that can kind of couch the weirdness of that tonality if you wanted to. And then the 4. Okay, so there's actually no 4 chord. There's a sharp 4, and the voicings are listed here. You can play a diminished triad, or a diminished 7th chord, or this diminished 7th that has a flat 6 in it, or you can put this diminished 7th that has a 4 in it. I think that's a super neat voicing. Anyway, so that's the 4 chord, or the sharp 4 chord. And then back to the 5, and then back to the 1. So if it's just triads, it's So I've cooked up a little backing track, and let's hear what it sounds like. So, why don't you play Jesse's Girl, roll the dice, and play it in a different tonality. It's good for you. I promise.